It's best to read the rules after you've started building, right? Welcome to the first episode of Rocky Mountain High.
Rocky Mountain High.
Best name I could come up with. Competition time again, baby. Episode 1. And you asked for it, so here it is, an entire series dedicated to our upcoming trip to Colorado, where Josh and I will be competing in the We RC Rock competition in Denver-ish, Colorado, early in June, which means I'm very late to getting started. But here we are. I don't know much about Colorado. I've only been there once. I loved it, and I cannot wait to go back. I'll put all of the information for the We RC Rock competition's Facebook page in the description down below, so you can go ahead and check out all the rules, you can check out where the location is, you can check out who's organizing it, and what you're expected to bring if you're going to be coming to the event. The focus of this competition is a little bit different from our typical Sorka style competitions that Josh and I are familiar with. It is not Sorka in any way, shape, or form, which is really, really cool. It's nice and it's refreshing to build to a different set of rules. This is the We Rock style competition, so things like a Capra might look a little more at home, but there are some rules and regulations you have to follow in order to be sure you're going to be maximizing those points. And like I said, all of the rules I will post down below so you can follow along, try to build your own buggies to compete. Aside from that, they really are focused on the scale details, and one of the main rules is you have to use a licensed tire. You can't use a Hyrax, for example, so this really does limit your choices, but really does make it more about the scale elements of the whole build and how they look, more than how they perform. And they're still going to perform great. Mine, however, maybe not so much. There are 3 classes, 1.9 Pro Mod, 1.9 Unlimited, and 2.2 Unlimited. If you know anything about me at all, you'll know I'm not competing in the 2.2 Unlimited. Just don't like 2.2. Without getting into all the minutia of the rules, and they're really, they're pretty specific and pretty easy to follow, there are points awarded for more realism. So we're looking at full drivers, we're looking at full interiors. We're going to be building metal cages instead of using plastic existing ones. This is all about realism, and it's all about heavy trucks. You can't be under 7 pounds, which honestly won't be hard to do. Without much more ado, here is the first build. This is the 1.9 Pro Mod series, and this is all I've got so far, but this is going to become an F toy, or a Formula toy. Formula Toyota. If you've never seen one before, I highly recommend you Google it. With limited success, perhaps. It hasn't been a very popular series for a long time because this is mostly based around the Hilux chassis, which they obviously don't make anymore. Essentially, it is a ladder-based chassis. This is from Brazen Scale. This is the C1 Pro Leafer. It is a leaf spring-based chassis. Obviously, why wouldn't I do that? And it's featuring a VFD transmission mounted in the center and leaf-sprung axles courtesy of JEC Racing. Now, these are, which ones are these? These are F9s, which are just here for mock-up purposes only. I will be using F10Ts. I'm just waiting on JEC to ship me the mounts for those axles. So this is just for mock-up purposes, just to kind of get everything in place. This chassis is a little bit different from Brazen's usual stuff. This one's been laser cut out of steel, so I can braze directly to it. The plan is to build a cage around this chassis in the F-Toy style, which is a very simple cage. And add an interior, add this front motor. This is the Vanquish motor cover from Mr. Comedy, Scale Designs by Mr. Comedy. Nice little motor there, which hides all of the servos and most of the electronics up front. And then from there, to get everything to kind of meld up with this chassis, I'm going to be using Sen Cut Sen to create some template parts that I can just braze directly to this chassis. So that way I know that everything is going to fit because I'm already making this all happen in CAD before I go ahead and start bending tube. I have ordered my tube from Stock Car Steel. It's where Josh got his, so that's what I did, because whatever Josh does, I do. I don't have much else to report on this. I did design a couple of very small sliders, which will hold the batteries that I've already got, which is great. And I have temporarily mounted up one of the Yokohama Geolanders. This is Vanquish's latest tire. Very nice looking tire, and quite large for a 4.75, but it is licensed and it is a 1.9. I've got some fancy beadlock rings on there from Shoddy RC. I think they look really awesome and really kind of add a personal touch. Now, of course, there is a whole lot more to do here and not much time to do it in, but the bones of it are there at least. So in the next couple of days, I'll start bending tube and start thinking about how to put this whole thing together. I'll probably have to finish designing it all first. But I'm excited about this one. I think the 1.9 Pro Mod using a leaf sprung truck, while I don't gain any points or any advantage, it's a disadvantage for sure. But it is going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be a simple build, but I think it's going to look really good. I've got some special unique touches that I'm actually developing some techniques for to really make this truck special. So hopefully those things will work, and you'll see in a future episode. Okay, let's see what 1.9 Unlimited looks like. While the Pro Mod class is a bit more based on a real truck that might exist, at least for me anyway, 1.9 Unlimited is very much purpose-built buggy. Moon buggy.
A perfect chance to make my patented space-age out-of-this-world moon waffles.
I guess you could call it, and this is what Josh has come up with. And it's spectacular. It looks really, really good. I'm super impressed with this thing. Very small overall, as you can see. It like fits in the palm of your hands, basically. It is using a VFD twin. There's going to be a ton of modifications to this. The direction of the motor mount is obviously not going to go in that direction. It's going to be flipped. There's a lot of mods that are going to be happening here, and Josh is going to walk everybody through it on his Discord. Now, he is doing this as a build-along series, and unfortunately, I think it's too late for new entries. But if you're in that group, you are already way further ahead than I am. Mostly because you've read through it. And I haven't really done that. Josh did a really incredible job of this, and there's a lot of send cut send built into this already. As you can see, he's already got mounting points and these send cut send pieces welded in to accept all of the panels that are going to go on these buggies. And there's a lot more going on here that I'm certainly not aware of yet. But as we get through this process, it's going to really come together really nicely. This is a printed skid, which is temporary for now, but it's just to kind of allow you to start mocking things up. I've also got the shocks here. Where are they? These shocks have already been, this is really amazing stuff. These are from Pricey's Custom Crawlers. These are all the way from Australia. These are machined shocks, and they're already to go. They've already been filled with fluid. They've already been tested, and they've already got the springs internally to allow for a little bit of droop, which is fantastic. There's still some rebound there as well. These are really nice looking shocks, and it's pretty exciting to have these already done and built up and ready to go. Of course, there's the mount points for them, and yeah, so I really haven't been doing much reading on the Discord. But I will be using Vanquish F10 portal axles, as you can see. These, I've already got the front sort of mocked up. I stole it off my Porsche because I am trying to build these on somewhat of a budget, which is why I went with the Reef's Raw 800 LP servo. I do need to pick up a second one of those so we can run the full rear steer. I guess I'll also need to have more brass covers too, but it's already a very nice looking axle. I love these brass edition servos. I think they're so like comically unnecessary, but they look great, and 800 inches of torque should be plenty for this little tiny guy. But as you can see, that's sort of how it's going to start coming together. There's tons more to do on this one too, and I will start reading through the Discord and participating a little bit more so I can actually build this mostly myself. from this point forward. If I had a TIG, I would have probably taken on the project of actually building this myself. But I don't really have the space in here for a TIG, and it's a process that I'm not too familiar with. Am I bleeding? What's your level of comfort with technology or fabrication? Put a comment down below. You know I love reading through your feedback, and I try to answer as many of those comments as I can. And of course, if you're enjoying this series and you want to see more stuff like this, the only way that's going to happen is if you hit the like button and subscribe. Dog wants you to do that too. So there you go, not too much more to report for this first episode, but lots more progress to come, trust me. Mostly because there has to be. I've got a lot to do. But it's going to be really fun, I'm looking forward to it, and there's nothing quite like pushing the boundaries of what one might be capable of in a very small space with limited tools. So we'll see how that F-Toy cage comes out, and how I end up finishing the design in order to make sure it actually turns out square. So I hope you will stick around. See you again on the next episode.